Good evening everybody and welcome to the Invisible Folk Club. My name is John Bickley. More new music for you now, starting with Malcolm McWatt and A Letter from San Francisco.
Dear mother, I wish I could tell you that I made my fortune in gold, but I squandered away all the money you saved to send me out here with your hopes. I was driven here by despair and hunger, hard times for family back home, by wind in the sail and wheel upon the rail. I came here with fire in my soul, but I never got past San Francisco saloons and the opium dens. The card games and girls became my whole world, and I got me a load of new friends. I bought all my comforts with money. For all of my pleasures I've paid. The whores and the whiskey, the tears of the poppy, I spend much more than I made. My friends left along with my money, and the money left a long time ago. It went along for the ride with my health and my pride. Now I'm sick and I'm lonely and cold. Now all the gold in San Francisco won't buy back the life I wasted away. I'm gonna die here in San Francisco. Please send this letter back home when I'm in my grave. I sold the watch that you gave me. I sold my warm winter coat. I'll buy one last night of earthly delight with women and whiskey and smoke. My heaven's a whorehouse in Frisco, an opium pipe is my dream, and a bottle of booze and a hand I can't lose will give me back my self-esteem. Now all the gold in San Francisco won't buy back the life I wasted away. I'm gonna die here in San Francisco. So please send this letter back home when I'm in my grave. So mother, I wish I could tell you that I made my fortune gold, but I squandered away all the money saved, and that story's about to be told.
bien souvent. Derrière chez nous, il y a une montagne, moi et mon amant la montons bien souvent. En la montant, mon Dieu, qu'il y a de peine. En descendant, quel soulagement. En la montant, mon Dieu, qu'il y a de peine. En descendant, quel soulagement. Dans mon jardin, le rossignol chante chaque matin à la pointe du jour. Dans mon jardin, le rossignol chante chaque matin à la pointe du jour. Pour faire l'amour, il faut savoir le faire, très peu parler et beaucoup caresser. Pour faire l'amour, il faut savoir le faire, très peu parler et beaucoup caresser. Derrière chez nous, il y a une fontaine tout entourée de beaux lauriers d'amour. Derrière chez nous, il y a une fontaine tout entourée de beaux lauriers d'amour. Allons-y donc, ma charmante que j'aime, nous y prendrons les plaisirs les plus doux. Allons-y donc, ma charmante que j'aime, nous y prendrons les plaisirs les plus doux. Souvent, derrière chez nous, il y a une montagne, moi et mon amant la montons bien souvent. En la montant, mon Dieu, qu'il y a de peine. En descendant, quel soulagement. En la montant, mon Dieu, qu'il y a de peine. En descendant, quel soulagement.
to one beat. They wouldn't leave the back a cutting lead. True believers, new believers, hoping it is true. No evidence that you present will alter what they say or do. Will history's lies both fall and rise before the last act of the play is through? So many trusted you for so very long. You'd never say that they all were wrong. And when you told us that the fairies were a tale, you couldn't know that they turn up in Rossendale, 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 Rossendale. Ooh.
You're listening to the Invisible Folk Club, and my name's John Bickley. We started that selection with Malcolm McWatt from his album Settler and Letter from San Francisco. Then d8683b17694443288bf38c1e054beb66 from Julie Abbey, which I really love. Freedom to Roam, who are great, from Cherish. We played one of their tracks last week, I think. And then The Village from an album called Ghosts in the Static, Cottingley. The Invisible Folk Club does interview podcasts as well as radio shows, and our latest one is with Ian A. Anderson, and he is about to release a collected box set of his first few albums. So go to your favourite podcast provider or to invisiblefolkclub.com and listen to what he has to say, and listen to some smashing music. For those who want even more, go to our Patreon service and subscribe to get the album of the month and an audio magazine called Mistletoe. One of the features of Mistletoe over the coming months is going to be a play with music. It's called St Kilda, and it tells the story of the evacuation of that island in 1930 from a story by Reinhard Kowalski. Okay, enough talk, back to the music. This is The Diviners and Battle of the Starlings.
12th of October 1621, they wed on a hill by the Lee. She danced when he sang, sweet tide waters ran, full of promise for them to the sea. He kissed her and told her, this day I will hold to my breast for the rest of our lives. Leaves gold on the trees in the late autumn breeze. I am proud now to call you my wife. From the sun rising high in a deep eastern sky comes a shadow more sudden than night. Lock your doors, bar the windows, the townspeople cry. Sky demons are marching to fight. Then the dark wind they heard was the wings of the birds, when over Cork City they rose. A black storm of sea surging over the lee, a strangeness on all of our homes. Hold me close, darling, I dream of starlings. They ran from the hill through a gathering wind, down a path to the streets far below. The flowers she wove he had picked from a grove, curled and died in a coldness of snow. Moinin must orny lane Rodach for Ta Aglan down in Mochri. A sorrow of war has darkened our door. There are shadows behind you and me. In Cork City skies, the deafening cries. A storm breaks when two armies meet. 10,000 fall dead on the day they are wed, and the sun sets blood red on the streets. For 2 days and more there rages a war, and townspeople say it's a sign. Know that Cork will be struck with a run of ill luck if we don't mend our ways in good time. Hold me close, darling, I dream of starlings. She died on an outgoing tide, where the river gives back to the sea. He searched for his bride in the wilds far and wide, from their home on the banks of the Lee. Cowell to Eileen Mochri. Ghosts for so long doomed to roam in some song by new walls, old quaysides unfree. The lost and the found, broken street lights a sound. There are shadows behind you and me. There are shadows behind you and me.
taken was poor Riley with this lovely Polly Ann. Oh, early next morning, the jailer's son came down. Rise up, Willie Riley, your trial is at hand. Before the judge and jury, your trial you must stand. I'm afraid you'll suffer sorely for your lovely Polly Ann. Up spoke her aged father, and these words he did say. He stole from me gold watches, he stole from me gold rings, he stole a silver brooch pin, was worth £1,000. I'll have the life of Riley if I spend £10,000. Up spoke a aged lawyer, and these words he did say. To hang a man for love, boys, I call it murdering. To hang a man for love, boys, that's murder you can see. Oh, spare the life of Riley, let him leave this country. Here is a ring among the rest I'd have for you to wear. My ring is 40 diamonds, it's plated with my hair. And when you wear it, Riley, wear it on your right hand. And think of my poor broken heart when you're in that foreign land.
The Tristan tree is whispering, remember me, it says. I am the silent witness of centuries and days. I gathered and I sheltered you, your lover's sighs and breath. The vows you swore of love or war are carved into my flesh. But where now do you wander as you shelter here no more? Do you lie now in the ground forevermore? The Tristan tree is listening. Through centuries it stands as all of man's endeavor is gathered in its span. Its canopy, its energy stretched towards the sun. As seasons turn, the cycle carries on. But where are you, my children, who played
gathered here for battle and gathered here for war. Oh, human life is folly, to the victor only pain. The branches sway and the seasons turn again. Your children and their children at the dying of the day. Generations turn and turn away. Come to me, to the trysting tree. Come to me, to the trysting tree. Come to me, to the trysting tree. Come to me, to the trysting
It's in your blood, it's in your bones, it's on TV, in your headphones, it's in your mouth, it's happening now, on Kepler 22B, on the streets of this city, in the small town you grew up in, at the desk where you do nothing, in the room where you've been sleeping. And it's pushing against us, we're losing control. It's pushing against us, turning us to soil. It's pushing against us, all these years. It's pushing against us, we're still here. It's in your mind, it's in your car, it's in their rubber bullets, in every dying star. It's in your brand new kitchen, in the high that you've been chasing, in the fires when they're raging, in the mountains when they're shaking, in the ice caps when they're melting, in the cells when they're mutating, in the cells when they are dying. And it's pushing against us, and we lose control. It's pushing against us, turning us to soil. It's pushing against us, all these years. It's pushing against us, we're still here. All the wood will turn to ash, all the rocks will turn to sand, all the walls will turn to rubble in the end. All the wood will turn to ash, all the rocks will turn to sand, all the walls will turn to rubble in the end. And it's pushing against us, and we're losing control. It's pushing against us, turning us to soil. It's pushing against us, all these years. It's pushing against us, we're still here. It's pushing
keep it all to myself. Put on a smile like everyone else in this big old world. Another face in the crowd. And when I look in your eyes, I understand somehow. I know how you feel. I know how it feels. I know how it feels when your heart just won't heal. The heart just won't heal. You miss their love, someone who cares. You feel their presence everywhere like a shadow. It just keeps hanging around. In the darkness, a loneliness profound. I know how it feels. I know how it feels. I know how it feels when your heart just won't heal. The heart just won't heal. You can pray for a miracle, it never comes true. The best that you get is someone to talk to. I know how it feels. I know how it feels. I know how it feels when your heart just won't heal. The heart just won't heal. I know how it feels. Oh, I know how it feels. I know how it feels when your heart just won't heal. The heart just won't heal. Alright. The heart just won't heal. 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 Oh, my heart just won't heal. My heart just won't heal. My heart just won't heal. Alright, hey. Thank you.
More new music on the Invisible Folk Club. We started that section with the McDades from their album The Empress and Willie Riley. Then the Trysting Tree from The Vision Thing. Will Varley with Pushing Against Us. And Ben Reel live at JJ Smith's in Dublin. And The Heart That Just Won't Heal. You're listening to the Invisible Folk Club and my name's John Bickley. I'm going to be playing my first gig for a while at the Christmas Tree Festival at St Peter and St Paul's in Olney in Buckinghamshire. Olney is the town where John Newton was a curate and wrote Amazing Grace. You'll hear a bit about that over the next year and a half. But the Christmas Tree Festival is on Sunday the 5th of December. I'll be playing for half an hour or so with Di Stone on fiddle in St Peter and St Paul's Parish Church. I've just received the CDs of my next album, recorded live with Di. It's called Albion, and this is our version of House Carpenter. Well met, cried he. I've just returned from the salt, salt sea, and it's all for the love of thee. Could have married a king's daughter dear, and she would have married me. But I have forsaken her crowns of gold, and it's all for the love of thee. You could have married a king's daughter dear, then I'm sure that you're to blame. I have married a house carpenter, and I find him a fine young man. Forsake your house carpenter and come along with me. I'll take you to where the green grass grows on the banks of the River Dee. I should forsake my house carpenter and come along with thee. What have you got to maintain me upon and to keep me from poverty? Six ships sailing on the salt sea, and then 7 more on dry land. 110 brave sailor men to be at your command. Picked up her own wee babe and kisses gave him 3, saying stay right here with your house carpenter, keep him good company. Put on her rich attire, so glorious to behold. When she went along her way, she looked like glittering gold. Been at sea about 2 weeks, I'm sure it wasn't 3, when that fair maid sat down to weep, and she wept most bitterly. Why do you weep, my fair young maid? Weep you for your golden store? Or do you weep for that house carpenter who you will never see any more? I do not weep for my house carpenter or for any golden store, but I do weep for my poor wee babe who I will never see any more. Been at sea about 3 weeks, I'm sure it wasn't 4, when that great ship sprang a leak and sank, never to rise anymore. that are so fair and high. Those are the hills of heaven, my love, but not for you and I. What hills, what hills, what hills, what hills, what hills, what hills are those, my love, that are so dark and low? Those are the hills of hell, my love, where you and I must go. That was me and Diana Stone from a forthcoming album called Albion and our version of House Carpenter. You're listening to the Invisible Folk Club and my name's John Bickley. Now Martin Carthy with the famous Flower of Serving Men.
My mother did me deadly spite, for she set thieves in the dark of the night. But my servants all to flight, they robbed my flower, they slew my knight. They couldn't do to me no harm, so they slew my baby in my arm. Left me naught to wrap him in, but the bloody sheet that he lay in. They left me naught to dig his grave, but the bloody sword that slew my babe. All alone the grave I made, and all alone the tears I shed. And all alone the bell I rang, and all alone the psalm I sang. I leaned my head all against the block, and there I cut my lovely locks. I cut my locks and I changed my name from Fair Eleanor to Sweet William. I went to court to serve my king as the famous Flower of Serving Men. So while I served my lord the king, that he made me his chamberlain, he loved me as his son, the famous Flower of Serving Men. And oft time he'd look at me and smile, so swift his heart I did beguile. And he blessed the day that I became the famous Flower of Serving Men. Oh, but all alone in my bed at e'en, there I dreamed a dreadful dream. I saw my bed swim with blood, I saw the thieves all around my head. Our king has to the hunting gone, he's ta'en no lords nor gentlemen. He's left me there to guard his home, the famous Flower of Serving Men. Our king he rode the wood all around, stayed all day but nothing found. As he rode himself alone, it's then he spied the milk-white hind. Oh, the hind she broke, the hind she flew, the hind she trampled, the bramble flew. First she'd melt and then she'd sound, sometimes before, sometimes behind. Oh, what is this, how can it be? Such a hind as this I ne'er did see. Such a hind as this was never born. I fear she'll do me deadly harm. And long, long did the great horse turn, but to save his lord from branch and thorn. Long ere the day was o'er, they tangled all in his yellow hair. The king drew nigh, where the hind shone bright, all in his eye. Of he sprang down, sword drew, she vanished there all from his view. And all around the grass was green, all around where a grave was seen. Sat himself down on the stone, great weariness it seized him on. Great silence hung from tree to sky. The woods grew still, the sun hung fire. Through the wood the Derby came, as through the once he made his moan. All the Derby sat down on a stone. So sweet he looked, so soft he sang. Alas, the day my love became the famous flower of serving men. All the bloody tears they fell as rain. Still he sat and still he sang. Alas, the day my love became the famous flower of serving men. Our king cried out and he wept for sore, so loud unto the dove he did call. Pretty bird, come sing it plain. Oh, it was her mother's deadly spite, for she sent thieves in the dark of the night. They come to rob, they come to slay, they made their sport, they went their way. And don't you think that her heart was sore as she laid the mould on his yellow hair? Don't you think that her heart was woe as she turned about all the way to go? And how she wept as she changed her name from fair Evelyn to sweet William, went to court to serve her king as the famous flower of serving men. All the bloody tears they lay all around. He's mounted up, underway he's gone. One thought come to his mind, the thought of her that was a man. And as he's rode himself alone, dreadful oath he there has sworn, that he would hunt her mother down like he would hunt the wildwood swine. For there's 24 ladies all, and they're all playing at the ball. Fairer than all of them is the famous flower of serving men. Our king rode into his hall, he rode in among them all. Lifted her to his saddled wing, he's kissed her there both cheek and chin. All the lords all stood and stretched their eyes, the ladies took to their fans and smiled. For a stranger homecoming no gentleman had ever seen. And he has sent his nobles all, and to her mother they have gone. Ta'en her that did such wrong, they've laid her down in a prison strong. And he's brought men up from the corn, and he's sent men down to the thorn, for to build the bonfire high, or for to set her mother by. Oh, bonny sang the morning thrush, where he she sat in yonder bush. Now did her mother cry in the bonfire when she burned close by. Oh, there she stood all among the thorn, there she sang a deadly song. Alas, the day that she became the famous cloud of serving men. For the fire took first all on her cheek, and there it took all on her chin. Spat and it sang in her yellow hair, as there she burned like poky green.
That was Martin Carthy with the famous Flower of Serving Men, recorded live at the Albert Hall, Bristol, on the 28th of February 1996. You're listening to the Invisible Folk Club, and my name is John Bickley. We're coming to the end of our show now, so I'd like to remind you that a lot of the artists featured have not been able to do gigs or earn a living over the last couple of years, so please go to their websites, their SoundCloud pages, buy a CD, and maybe a t-shirt or a badge or something. Most people have got merchandise available. Support the community. If there's stuff that we're not playing that you need to hear, write to Steve Yarwood at the contacts page of invisiblefolkclub.com. Subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our Patreon page. The music you can hear in the background is John Moore playing Feeling Bad Blues, written by Ry Cooder. So I'll leave you to listen to a little bit of that, and say that we'll get together next week for another Invisible Folk Club. Good night for now.